Carlos of the Seattle Ninjas. Good to have you here, man.
Hey, great to be here. You always need young, fast guys. They have the potential to do well, and you see that the potential that can start to read the field. Um, Obviously, that's what you want. I think when you watch paintball, you participate in it. There's a need for that. Uh, but you have to make sure that there's chemistry. And with so what we did is we just advertised. We opened it up to have some people come out, and then we looked at that. We looked at how do people get along. Are they always focused just on themselves? And even some of the people we picked up, and I won't name any names, but some of them are still self-involved. But that I think that's part of learning to be a part of a team. So we had people come out. We saw how they got along, and then as we started to assess their abilities, we separated different lines. And then there should always be. So right now we have a D3 X ball team, and then we have a D4 5-man team, and then based on how people played and how they got along and the skill set, that's where we focused our efforts. And then that could change. We always want people to fight to do well, but we also don't want to just grab someone and throw them in a higher division and then they can't play anymore.
Right. Like you want to be able to enable them to succeed in the environment.
Yes, yes. So that was really. I mean, there really wasn't any method. We have a lot of guys that are really green, and but having the talks with them and saying, look, this is why we're focusing this way. This is why we're doing things this way, is because if we just throw you into a national event at a certain level and you're not ready, that could really, you could take a hit to your ego. So let's get you to this first event, see how you do, and if you do really well, we'll look at making a bump up. If not, we'll have you stay where you are and work on those things. Well, anytime you're building something or you're building a plan or a team, you want to look at sustainability. You want to look at, your players are a resource. So you want to look at how can you build up this team so you can continue success. And success meaning you're at a certain level, and then you're getting to the next level. What can I do? What part can I do? What can I do as a team member with my team so I'm providing value and that we're increasing that? And so you want to look at that. I mean, if you have someone that comes in and they just aren't good chemistry, I mean, that's something you have to fix right away. I'm a real direct person. So if there's an issue, I'm going to talk to that person, and hopefully I do it in a way that they understand that this is about the team, and that's what this is about. So if they're not playing well or they're not up to a certain part, I'm going to tell them that, and I would hope they would do the same for me, because it's a team effort. It's more about, I'm sure you've heard this before. It's more about the name on the front of the jersey than it is the one on the back, and so you want to have that focus. Now, with that being said, obviously there are certain people who have really good skill set and they do really well. You want to make sure that you continue to feed into that, because that's part of your success. But if you don't play well as a team and everybody plays individually, you are not going to succeed. And I can think of many opportunities and many times where the reason why we didn't succeed is because of the choices we made, or we didn't make, we failed to make. I would say, from someone who's organized the team over many years, is, as a player, what I'm looking for is someone. If someone says if you say you're going to do something, as far as commitment, actually, maybe, some people said they're very committed. I think they need to go and look it up, because they don't know what commitment is. And when I say commitment is, are you able to make practices consistently? Are you able to give it your all? Can you do so financially? Because this isn't an inexpensive sport. And realizing if you don't show up for certain practices, because some people I've had before, like, well, I don't need to practice because I have this. Well, when they're not a part of that practice, everybody else suffers. So knowing what commitment actually is, and if you have hurdles or different things that are going to keep you from being committed, communicate that with your team. Because, I mean, people have other lives besides paintball. Some people do. So you need to make sure that you relay that. An example, if you're overly involved and you are married and have kids, and that gets in the way of your family, and then, in a year you're divorced, look at what's most important for you. And, you have to make those decisions. So I think that's important, knowing what commitment actually is, showing up on time. If you don't show up on time, you really don't have respect for anybody else on your team. That's people who are always late. I think they're self-absorbed and don't really care about everyone else that they're there to meet. So things like that. Those are things I look for. But communicate. You have to communicate and if you are looking to go to that next level, you have to ask yourself those things. Are you able to put in the work? Are you just playing on the weekend? Or are you taking some? Are you doing extra things so you can excel at what you're doing? Mm-hmm. I've been injury prone. I mean, I'm 49, and I've had 3 knee surgeries, an Achilles tear, and though sometimes I was out for a year. And I looking back, some of those injuries I think I could have avoided if I would have put more prep time into being healthier. So, looking at things like that. And you have to ask yourself, what do you want to do? What level do you want to be at? What effort are you going to put into it? I think those are things that you need to know before you even show up to be a part of a team where you're looking to play a full season. And if you can't play a full season, when you go to a team, tell them, I can't do this, but these are the events I can make, because then the team may have other assets, or they may have other players that they could use in those areas. Mm-hmm. The other thing is if you feel you're specific to playing one position, or even if you can play all over, you have to realize if there are other people there that have that same skill set, what can you do to make sure that you're the one that maybe gets more reps, because that'll just help the team whether you get the reps or not. And then you also have to think, like I said, I was injured. People get injured. You need to be ready to step on the field when your time comes. Also, with how some of these events play, you have to be fit. There are certain positions you're running over and over and over. You need to be ready to go in. And if whoever's the number one needs to take a breather for a while and you're that number 2, you have to be ready to do that and do it the best that you can. Maybe you turn into the number 1. What if they get hurt? What if they're just having an off day? Yeah. So you need to plan where you have that rotation, because if you have 3 people who can play the same position in the same way, and you can rotate those people, you never get tired. That's a plus if you can build something like that. So you need to look at different ways that you can make yourself someone that the team can depend on, and whenever you're on the field, you're the best that you can be.